Okay, now let's recap. We interfaced the collar. We we've we prepared the front. We did the pocket. Okay, put the pocket on. Okay, and you did stitch around the facing part of the front. That was back over at the beginning. You stitch that down, and at the edge of it, you turn that down 1/4. Okay, we did the pocket. We've attached the pocket. Now the next thing you want to add to join is the front and the back at the shoulders. Okay, so you open out the back piece and you lay it onto the front piece and you stitch it across the shoulder, 5/8 of an inch. Alright? At this point you should have the back, which is here, stitched to the front, which is here, across the shoulder. Once you stitch it across the shoulder, you want to open up that seam and press it out nice and flat. Okay? And that's on both sides. So you want to make sure that that seam is pressed out nice and flat on both sides. Alright? Here's the other side. Remember, press as you sew, or press as you go, and also snip your little threads off so that they won't be hanging when you complete the garment. Okay? So we're going to open this seam out. We're going to press this seam out to where it's open, just like we did on the other side. So bear with me there just a second. Okay. Okay, now that you've stitched the shoulders together and you press them open, the next thing you want to do is stay stitch. That's a stitch all the way around the collar, from this point at the interfacing all the way around to the other side to the interfacing. And you want to stitch it only 1/4 of an inch. Okay? 1/4 of an inch. Alright? So now we're ready to apply the collar. Okay, now we're ready to attach the collar to the top. Alright? What I like to do is to get the center point of the collar, and by doing that I just fold it in half, okay, and make a snip right there in the center, okay, right in the center of the collar. This I'm going to line up along the neck edge of the top. Okay, so your collar is all ready to attach. Okay, so take your top, open it out with the right side facing you. Okay, and the same way that I marked the center of the collar, I'm going to mark the center of the top by folding it together to the shoulder seams. Then I'll snip right in the middle. You can see where I've snipped that already. Okay, so I'm going to match the center of the collar, and this is the bottom of the collar. I'm going to match it up to the top and pin it. Okay, and then I'm going to work my way over to the left. Now you want to keep this top portion here out of the way. The top of the collar, you want to keep it out of the way. The next notch that you come to is going to match up, or should line up, with the shoulder seam, directly over the shoulder seam. Alright, so put a pin right there. Okay, and work your way on over till you come to the end of the collar. Make sure that it's flat. Make sure there are no folds or creases under the bottom. Alright, and you're going to pin it at the end. Then go back to the right side and do the same thing. Okay, so we're going to pin it down. Now when we stitch this, it is very important that you keep this top collar part away from the area that you're sewing. You just have to push it back out of your way. And then you want to line this in the right side up just like you did the left side. Notice how I'm placing my pins, so when I stitch over them, they won't break the needle. Okay, so now we're going to stitch the collar onto the top. Alright, so let's do that.